Welcome to another episode of This Woman Works. I am your host, Mike Patton, and on this episode, we will be getting to know someone that is building up from the ground up. That would be Miss Jantrice Johnson. How are you doing
I'm
today?
good. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good.
All right. Well, I want to thank you for joining the show. We're going to get into your journey to where you are now and then talk about that. But, like we do every episode, we're going to start off with the get it off your chest segment. Well, not get off your chest segment. That's for another show. But we're going to start off with the Black Girl Magic moment. And I really don't have anything for the Black Girl Magic moment for this episode, but I just wanted to say this and make a statement. Black women, I love y'all. I'm always going to be there to support. Always going to be there to lift you up. Um, that's who I am. That's in my DNA. That's who I always will be. I want to thank you for being all that you are, all that you have been, and all that you continue to be. I love y'all, and I'm gonna always, always, always be there for y'all. I felt like that was an important statement to say. I just wanted to say that today. And also my shirt, of course, for those that don't see it, it says Black Women Matter. For those that don't see it, of course, you can stand up a little bit. It says Black Women Matter. And truly, Black women do matter. It begins and ends to me with Black women. Jantrice, I just had to say that this morning.
No,
And
no, I
that was a
appreciate it,
statement.
especially the morning after. We need to know that Black men still have our. You all still support us and still love us, because that's a blow this morning. So yeah, thank you.
I hear. Yeah, definitely, definitely. Just had to, make that statement this morning. Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna leave it there. And then we're gonna get into the show, of course, Jantrice. I brought you on the show because I wanted to, allow people to get to know you a little bit more. For those that don't know you, now we're gonna start off with young Jantrice. We're gonna start
All right.
there.
All right.
So, where did you grow up?
I grew up right here in Middle Tennessee, Murfreesboro, Tennessee, with my mom, dad, and older sister.
Mhm. Okay. So growing up in Murfreesboro, I know that's for those that aren't aware, that's a little bit outside of Nashville. The Middle Tennessee State University, that's where it is. So not growing up in Nashville, but outside of Nashville, how was it growing up in Murfreesboro during the time that you grew up?
It was fine. I've always been very close to my family, so if there were some outside things going on within our city, like I was protected by those things. I had an older sister who I didn't step foot out of the house without her going in front of me and saying, "Hey, this is my little sister." So if there were some things that other people grew up with, guess what? I didn't, because I knew that I was protected by my older sister when I left the house, inside the home, growing up with my mom and dad. I was just really surrounded by my family so much that I didn't really see some of the outside things until I moved out. So Murfreesboro is will always be home, so much so that I moved back with my family to the other side of Murfreesboro, which is Christiana, Tennessee. So this is where I chose to come back to raise my family.
Christiana. Yeah, I'm very familiar with where that is for sure.
Mike, what do you
Um,
know about Christiana?
no, I know a couple people that live down there.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I know a couple people that live down there. I know definitely if you take a couple more steps, you're gonna be for real out there.
Yeah, we were about a mile from being for real out there. So we wanted a space to raise our girls with, just, let's take away from the outside noise. Because once we're home, we're home. We
Mhm.
wanted them a chance to enjoy some yard space and everything. So yeah.
Got you. Okay. So, Murfreesboro, like I mentioned, it's a little different than Nashville. Nashville's a little bit probably more hustle and bustle. And what I was going to say, it used to be, because I know Murfreesboro, the traffic is picked up,
It's
the
booming.
population is growing. Yes.
Yeah.
So, there's a lot of different things that you may or may not have seen growing up. So I have a question that I want to ask, and what was, being that you did may not have seen a lot of different things there growing up, you may it's different now, of course, obviously there's a lot
Hmm.
going on. But what was the first thing that you wanted to be growing up?
First thing I wanted to be was a teacher.
Hmm.
Um, I think outside of my family, my kindergarten, first, second, probably K through third teachers had the most impact on me. It was during a time where I think that teachers could teach and love their students. Now we're in a different, there's lines you can't cross. But I think my early grade teachers, my elementary school teachers really had a big impact on me. And so seeing that, I grew up wanting to be a teacher.
Okay, all right, yeah, definitely can I gather that one. I know a lot of people that grow up wanted to be teachers. Me personally, I wanted to be a professional football player. It
Okay.
didn't quite work out. I made it to college, and then college showed me that I probably don't have the skills to
Yeah.
make it to be a
Okay.
professional football player. Even though I did. The Cowboys. I think the Cowboys and the Saints or somebody came up there when I was in college and like actually worked out some people and yeah, my measurables and me running, I was like, yeah, this ain't it.
It's
It
not
ain't
okay.
gonna happen for me.
All right.
But of course, you said about being a teacher, but now you're in the business of being a realtor. Definitely, I know that was had to be an interesting in terms of transition of thinking and thought, and something had to happen to get to that point. But we're not going to go into that just yet. We're going to take a quick
Okay.
commercial break. When we come back, we're going to talk about getting into the realtor business and how all that happened on this episode of This Woman Works.
EBO Beard Butter and EBO Beard Wash are two of the best beard grooming products for men worldwide. They help promote growth, keep your beard moisturized and soft, and enhance your overall upkeep of your facial hair. And with the new promo code MPAFC10, you can get 10% off all these products. Just go to www.etsy.com/shop/EBO Beard Butter. Again, that's www.etsy.com/shop/EBO Beard Butter. And again, the promo code MPAFC10. Again, MPAFC10, where you can get 10% off any products except for beard boxes. So treat your beard better today by going to get these the EBO Beard Butter and EBO Beard Wash.
All right, we are back on This Woman Works with your host Mike Patton and my guest Jantrice Johnson. Now, of course, everyone always asks me, why do you have a beard commercial on the show called This Woman Works? Now, I know women are not growing beards. I know that. But there are fellas in their lives that are, whether it be your cousin, your uncle, your husband, your boyfriend, anything like that. So there we go. And we know that men, as men, we do not necessarily take care of ourselves great all the time. So why not put a beard treatment commercial on this episode? So maybe the women that are watching, hey, it's getting closer to Christmas time, by the way, can find something that, hey, maybe the men in their lives need. So there we go. That's the explanation for the commercial. Did they,
I actually
I
took
know.
notes I took notes from the commercial for my husband. I was like, you know what? Let me see. Let me check out this beard stuff. So I understood it. Yeah.
I actually use it. So it actually does. It makes your beard nice and soft, and definitely takes care of everything. I mean, I ain't really have really ingrown hairs or nothing like that either.
Okay.
So,
Good. Good.
oh yeah,
Good.
definitely takes care of you. But getting back to the show, let me go ahead and swerve back to the show. But you're currently. Can you tell everyone all the things that you're involved in terms of realty and things like that?
So let me backtrack. Yeah, I
Okay,
answered the
cool.
question about teaching. I did teach for 13 years right out
Mm-hmm.
of college. I actually was I taught in East Nashville.
Mm-hmm.
And I was a coach of volleyball, track, and basketball for 13 years. And then I
Mm-hmm.
transitioned into real estate, which the transition wasn't that big for me because real
Mm-hmm.
estate and construction was all I've known growing up. That's all I remember my mom and dad doing was real estate
Mm-hmm.
and construction. My dad was a contractor. He built homes. So the transition wasn't that much. And coming from education to real estate, I still have to daily educate people, and that's what I enjoy doing. Giving out information that people need to know. That's the same thing I was doing as a teacher. Although age is different, but I'm still educating sellers and buyers. So the transition really wasn't that different, but I do a lot. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm on my title. I'm a third of Smothering Pros, which is a real estate team with my mom and my older sister. So it's all three of us together. Then I'm also the founder of Muka, which is real estate oriented. It's an online directory where you can find minority agents and minority contractors from all over the United States. So let's say if you move to, it's talking about moving somewhere else, you can find a minority agent and contractor through our website. I also do a lot of community work here in Rutherford County. I'm currently working with We Give, and We Give is a group of people that is doing a lot of work with the NFL alumni group here in
Mm-hmm.
Tennessee, and we give back to the homeless population here in Rutherford County. So excited about that work. Been doing that work for about 8 years now, but I'm in real estate, and it has probably been the best decision I could have made to not only I work with my family, but to work with other families in that personal space has really been good for me.
Okay. So you did mention, 13 years education and then now over into real estate. So when did becoming a realtor actually first cross your mind?
I think watching my mom. I think when I was a teacher or when I was coaching, I realized one thing: when I do something, I'm all in. And so one of the things that I did notice is my mom was dedicated to her job of serving families, but she also had time to be a mom. She also had time to be a community leader. And one of the things that intrigues me about it is that I can still provide certain things for my family, but as a teacher and coach, I wasn't as present. I had a young child when I decided to make the decision, and teaching and coaching took a lot of that. So I think it crossed my mind more once I had my oldest daughter that I knew I needed some flexibility, but also wanted to do something that I loved. So that really pushed me when I missed some of her big moments growing up. It's like I can't give other students everything. I have to give some to my family. So real estate gave me the opportunity to be a mom, to be there, but also you can't pass up an opportunity to work with your mom and sister. I think that been a blessing for me is I'm not doing this by myself. I can call my mom at 10 p.m. about a question I did last night about a listing we have. And so I think more and more for me is like, hey, I have an opportunity to work with my family. I have an opportunity to be there for my family. I can make this transition. And the transition wasn't, I say, it was a tough one coming into the business, but it wasn't tough to make the decision to put my family first.
Hmm. Okay. All right. So when you officially first got started, your first day, you said you like to go all in on things you
Mhm,
do.
mhm.
How did that first official day go for you?
Listen, let's not talk about the day. It was the year. The first 2 years was rough. It was rough. I think people think as realtors or agents, like, hey, we're just sitting back collecting this money. It's like, no, I have to work daily at this. I have to make contact with people on a daily basis, and I have to set my schedule. So the first couple of years were rough. I just thought clients would fall out of the air, or if you knew I was in real estate, you would call me. And that's not the case. And so that the first couple of years were not easy. I honestly thought I was going to go back to teaching and coaching. But again, working with my mom and sister, having them as motivators, having my mom's been in the business for over 35 years. And so she's been in the business where when she started, looking how we look in a real estate business was not known. And so watching her and hearing her stories helped me to, push through some of those tough times and saying, I'm not going to quit this. I'm not going to quit because I don't fit the typical mode of what an agent looks like or that talks like. I can learn this business and also lean on my mom. So that helped me push through. But that transition was not as easy as a lot of people think.
Totally understand, totally understand. So, being that transition was not as easy for you, when was the first moment that you were like, okay, I'm where I'm supposed to be now?
I think some people would say, hey, after your first closing. It wasn't my first closing. It was the result of after my first closing. So after my first closing, that family ended up selling their home years later. So I found them a home, gave them my expert opinion about why they should buy the home. And my main thing was, I know if you buy this home now in this location, this area will go up, and you all can get into your home that you really want. Now, keep in mind, people want first time, like, hey, I want to get a home I really want. It's like, no, you got to be smart with it, right? So I think after selling their home and they made over 100K, that's when I knew I was where I needed to be, all based on education, understanding where that property was, understanding what was coming years later. I think that's when I knew, like, hey, I can still be an educator in this space. And I think more people who look like us need to be in this space because it's money out there to be made. And I think seeing the excitement of that family, it's something I will never forget, that I played a part in that. And so my biggest thing, even as a teacher, was to help people grow or to help people beyond the classroom, to see that it was something that I've always wanted to do, help people beyond, limits of a certain thing. So to see that couple and to see them where they are now, is like, okay, I played a part in that. That makes me feel good. So that, I think it was at that point that I knew this is where I'm supposed to be.
Okay. And can you mention We Give? I know we had talked off air about it, but with We Give, I believe you worked with a particular gentleman that a lot of Titans fans would know.
Yes. Last year we worked with Jeffrey Simmons. Jeffrey Simmons, he has a great foundation. I actually met Jeffrey in Vegas at a camp that Muka, my company that we were working with. We were working with this particular company, and we met him. I said, "Hey Jeff, when you get back to Nashville, we need to talk." I emailed his people. They emailed me back, and we worked together to give back to a whole school. A whole school received the whole Christmas party. Every student there received shoes. They got to visit Santa. They got food. We just had a great time. And that's basically what We Give is. We give, and we give in big ways. There's a group of people here in Middle Tennessee who want to give. And I've connected with those people, whether it's not through the NFLA, United Way, my congregation, Highway 231, Church of Christ I go to, the health department. It's a group of people, and we're saying, hey, how can we give back? Let's do this together instead of separately. And it's been a crazy 8 years of giving back, not only to our community, but people know, hey, if I sell homes in this area, I need to be giving back to this area. So that's how it's important to me to not only work in this area, but if you work in this area, you need to be giving back.
I understand. Now, In the realtor business, I know there's always some challenges, but there's always some advice that come out of those different challenges as well. We're going to get into that, but first we're going to take another commercial break on This Woman Works.
A shift. A shift is something that happens and changes the dynamics. And that's what happened when Garrett Logistics was born. After 10 years as a sales pro in the logistics world of sporting goods, John Garrett decided to pivot to the world of freight and start a brokerage. So you're saying to yourself, why trust Garrett Logistics? Well, Garrett Logistics helps shippers improve overall workflow, along with increased on-time pickup and delivery percentages. Last-minute loads, multi-drop pickups, and more are part of the services with Garrett Logistics. They're available Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 6 p.m., and Saturday, 8 a.m. to 12 p.m., all times Central Standard Time. So give them a ring at 615-400-8484. That's 615-400-8484, or you can email them at john@garrettlogistics.co or visit their website at garrettlogistics.co. Garrett Logistics, where the motto is, it's not just freight to us, it's your business.
All right, and we are back on This Woman Works with your host, Mike Patton and Jantrice Johnson. And like I mentioned before in the commercial break, there's always challenges in anything that you do. And I know the realtor business is not any different. So what was one of the biggest challenges you've had in the realtor space over your time?
I think for me is walking into real estate spaces with confidence. I am at that time, still am considered to be young Black woman in a space that it's not a lot of us, but walking into rooms with confidence, knowing that I knew the information, that I've studied the areas, that I know this is where I'm supposed to be. That's one of the biggest challenges, because I walk into a lot of rooms where it's only a few of us. And there is something that you have to do in the car, in my truck, that has to hype me up and say, you know what? I deserve to be in this space. I know what I'm doing. So that's always been the biggest challenge to me, is to not downplay what I know, because I may not feel as confident in a lot of those spaces. But that's definitely a challenge that's definitely something that I have worked on over the years, is saying, you know what? I deserve to be here. I deserve to be on the board. I deserve to be in this space where I can teach a real estate class. So I think that's been the biggest challenge, is having the confidence to not give up, and know that you deserve to be in this space.
All right. And you mentioned a little bit about how you overcame it with, you said you're hyping yourself up, things like that. What are some other ways you kind of overcame those different, giving yourself the confidence to be able to shine in these spaces?
I think also just, I talked about my mom earlier, watching her. My mom this year is the first African-American woman president of Middle Tennessee Association of Realtors. If that doesn't give you any confidence as a daughter, like, that gives me confidence to know, hearing her stories of everything she's been through within the business, and knowing those things, and knowing I'm walking behind her. Oh, but I go in rooms now with my head up high, because she's had to endure some things that I may not necessarily have to endure. She had to take some name calling, why should we, sell with you because you're a Black woman. And now that gives me the confidence, because you know what? I have girls that are coming behind me. And so now there is not a space that I don't walk in with my head up high, or with confidence, knowing someone's paved the way for me, and now I'm paving the way for someone else. And so that makes me even more saying, I deserve to be in these rooms. I'm going to go after these rooms. I'm going to go after these positions, all because, like your show is saying, a woman worked before me, and this is what I have to do to keep this going for my family.
Okay. All right. So in this business, of course, you do have mentors and things like that. And they often offer advice. So what was the best bit of advice you've received in the realtor business?
In this business, you're going to make mistakes. right?
Hmm.
And I think one of the best advice, one of the best things that I received is once you make a mistake that cost you, you'll never forget it. And so I think I was just dwelling on the fact that sometimes within this business, or I hadn't always sold the deal, right? But then
Hmm.
I would always dwell on the fact that I didn't sell it. But then guess what? That would push me to be better for the next one. And so I think
Hmm.
the best advice that I was given is to you can look at where you fail, but you can also use that as a motivation. It's like, hey, I didn't get that. But you know what? I'm gonna use that as a jump start because I'm gonna make sure I work even harder. And so instead of dwelling on that and maybe pushing down, like, you know what, I should sink down, it's a point for me to say, hey, after failures, I'm gonna rise back up because that's going to motivate me. That's going to teach me the lesson. So in real estate, there are going to be some deals that you're not going to, there that you're not going to work. There are going to be some
Hmm.
clients of your close family and friends that will not choose you. And you can either use that as to shrink, or you can use it to say, you know what, let me work a little harder to where that using that failure, using things that didn't go well as a motivation instead of something that is a downer, or something that says, you know what, I shouldn't be doing this. Like, you know what, I should, and I'm gonna use that as motivation. So that's been the best advice, taking my mistakes and taking the failures within the business and using them as motivation.
Would you say that would be some of the advice you would give someone coming after you who may have aspirations to do what you did, or do you have another bit of advice for them?
Oh, most definitely that would be it. Because you're going to experience, I in our within our team, we work together. And in this business, when you go outside of your team, a lot of agents seem to think, hey, I'm in this for myself. It's like, no, we have to work together. And so that would be my two biggest things is, hey, take your failures and mistakes and use them as motivation, but also use this business not as a solo business, not as I'm just in it for myself, but focus on building relationships, because those relationships will carry you on in the business a lot further than you just saying, hey, I'm gonna stay in my little solo. I'm not gonna talk to the other agents. And I have gotten deals for my clients based on the relationships that I've had with other agents or with other ways within the community. So this is not a solo business. You can't do this by yourself. You're gonna have to put yourself out there and build the relationships.
Got you. Okay. So, definitely enjoyed this episode of finding out, where you grew up and all those different things there, how you transitioned your career, and also, challenges and how you overcame those along with advice. But, we can't just have, all serious talk. We got to have a little fun on the show.
All
We
right,
have a
let's go,
speed
Mike.
round.
All
So this
right.
speed round, we got 10 questions that allow people to get to know you a little bit more. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's go.
All right. Who would play you in a biopic?
Oh man. Oh, that's a hard one. I'm going
Hmm.
to say Lauren Hill.
Okay. All right. That's okay. All right. All right. Coming back from Sister Act 2 to just boom.
Uh-huh.
There she
Yep,
go.
yep, yep, yep.
Your favorite movie?
Set It Off.
Okay. All right. Your least favorite movie?
A lot of them, because I'm a reader. Fun fact about me, I haven't seen a lot of movies, so I can list a lot.
Okay.
Anything
Ah,
scary. I do not like scary movies. Like, why are we jumping? Why do we have to shoot somebody in the first 5 minutes? Like, can we just love on each other, right? So, yeah, anything that's scary and boom, boom, boom every 5 minutes, I don't like.
oh, I love some scary movies. So, favorite actress?
Favorite actress? Oh, man, I'm going to say Angela Bassett.
Okay. All right. Favorite
That's a
vacation
tie
spot?
between and Miss Davis, Viola Davis. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I've actually pitted those two against each other to ask people one time with a
Right.
question.
You cannot pit them against each other. No, they come together.
I hear you. I hear you. Your favorite vacation spot?
Anything that's close to the water or in the mountains.
Okay. All right. Favorite food?
Favorite food, bread.
Bread. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Who would you like to sit down with for dinner and pick their brain?
Oprah.
Okay. Favorite artist? in terms of musical
Oh,
artists?
I'm an indie soul, indie R&B. Uh,
Okay.
I'm an indie soul woman. Any love song, I want to hear it. The indie R&B has always been my favorite for a while. I need her
Okay.
to
All right.
produce more music soon.
Yeah, maybe her and Shannon Sanders can connect on that one. Let's see. Favorite song currently?
Favorite song currently, anything that has to do with Jesus. I'm in a
Mhm.
season where I have to listen to all things about Jesus or I will not act like him. So anything with Jesus in this season. And
Okay. All
especially
right.
after, especially the morning after, you gotta
Mhm.
calm your Jesus.
Okay. Favorite childhood memory?
Favorite childhood memory. Vacations with my family. I don't think I realized how much people don't vacation, while they were younger. But
Hmm.
that's one thing I always enjoyed climbing, getting in the car. My dad would be off for 2 weeks. My mom would, decompress of what she was doing with real estate and work and just being with them on vacation.
Hmm.
Every year we took a family trip and that was always good.
Yeah, definitely value those because when I was a kid, I only did one family vacation that I can remember. And that was
My
going to Florida when I was like 4 or 5. That's
my
literally the only
My
one I
husband
can.
was the same way when we met. He was like, "Yeah, we would take vacations to where my dad lived, like where he grew up." And I'd be like,
Mhm.
"What? No, we all year we would be like, hey, we want to see this spot." And my mom and dad would be like, "Okay, we're gonna make it happen. Your dad's gonna
Mhm.
be shut down. We're gonna make." So those are fond memories, good times.
Yeah, the only vacations I went on was when my mom was actually with the Girl Scouts,
Mhm.
and they would sponsor a trip, so everybody in the church would go. So I went to, let's see, Cincinnati, went to New York, went to Houston.
But so
Let's
you went to
see,
places? What are we talking
I went to
about?
places. No, no, I'm just saying like family trips.
Oh,
Family
got
trips
it.
were the
Oh, got
only,
it. Got it.
yeah,
Got it. Got
family
it.
trip. The only family trip I went on was to Florida when I was 4. Other than that, all of these were, basically church trips going to Houston, New York, Cincinnati,
Hmm.
Atlanta. Let's see, where else did we go? I can't remember, but yeah, that's the only thing I can remember in terms of when I was a kid. So yeah, no family trips for me, only one when I was a kid. But that's the speed
Fun.
round.
Yeah.
That's the speed round, and we are all wrapped up on the show. If you can, tell everyone where they can find you on social media or any other outlets as well. And thank you again for coming on the show.
No, no, thank you. Instagram. My name is at Jantrice Johnson, so I'm not hard to find. Shoot me a DM, ask me questions. You can also find me on Muka, mukaishome.com. That is our website. We're almost officially launching at the end of this year. So anything you can type in Smotherman Pros and actually find myself, my mom, and my sister on there.
Okay. All right. And of course, I am the host of the show, Mike Patton. You can find me on the artist formerly known as Twitter at Mike Patton82. That's MikePatton 82 on the artist formerly known as Twitter, Word to Prince. And also, you can find me on Instagram and threads at that's THA, not THE, _general _MP. Of course, you can find This Woman Works on all listening platforms. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, you name it, we are there. And we're also on the Mike Patton Network on YouTube. I want to thank you all for tuning in to this episode of This Woman Works. We're out. Peace.